Quant Trade Edge, and today we had several more of our flagship 4x pattern. The first one that actually triggered was in copper, and I want to give a shout out to Zealander. He is a member in our Discord group, and he's the one that actually pointed it out and brought it to my attention. And it's just very gratifying to see that people are learning the patterns. And the purpose of the Discord is to teach people. It's not to hand out calls, which we do once in a while. But it was just really gratifying to see that someone is paying attention and learning and finding the patterns in real time. So going back to a daily chart of copper, we had this big down day and then an inside day. And what would happen here, so this isn't a situation where we are changing from an up, string of up bars to down bars. These are all down bars. But when you break out from an inside day, you typically, it's a bit of a breakout. So that, playing below that low, it actually played out really well on a 15-minute chart right here. And if I remember right, it was actually, if I put the Gann bar counter on, even the 5-minute showed the same pattern of up, down, up. It was on the 10-minute as well, and Zealander was following it on all three time frames, on the 5, on the 10, and on the 15. And you'll see that it played out in every single one of those time frames. It gave you a clean ABC. I'll take the Gann indicator off now because it's a little sloppy. So this is the 15-minute. This would have been our risk bar. And I will put a rectangle around it. And basically the size of that risk bar was 65. So 4R took us down to 35.25, I believe. 35.25. That was 4R, and it kept going. So this is easily a 6R trade. And here's something interesting that happened, and Zealander was on top of this as well. This little mess here on the 15, on the 10, is actually a whole nother clean pattern. And, granted, the first pattern is always best, but getting another clean ABC is, it serves two purposes. One, obviously, if you missed the first one, here's a second attempt. If you want to add to your risk, this is a reasonable place to do it, but it's also a way to bring your stop down, because now that we have another ABC tested pivot, you would not want it to go back above that. So this actually gave us a reasonably tight range and of 55, so 220 would be 405. So we got 4R on this pattern as well. So if you missed the first pattern, that happened at 7 a.m. in the morning. If you happen to miss that, this one set up at 9:30 Central Time. So that's just a great way to see that, and it's probably ended up being about 5R. So, whether you caught the original one and took your profits at 4, ran it all the way to 6, or you took the second one, there were a lot of different ways to catch it. And again, shout out to Zealander for seeing that. The other big trades we were stalking was in the Nasdaq. So, we have a 10-day high. We have this high from January 24th, which is held for 10 days. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. This was the 10th day. And we're in a hoagie. And, as a refresher, a hoagie is when you have 2 or more bars inside the range of this bar, which we call the mother bar. So we had that hoagie. And when you have a hoagie, you don't want to break out, you don't want to just use previous day high. Or if you could think back to this day, when this was an inside bar, you don't want to use the high of that bar as a breakout point. You want to use the high of the mother bar, the high of the first bar in an inside bar sequence or a hoagie sequence. So again, we want to use this high, 17,775.50. That's as close as I'm going to get it. And you'll see that as soon as we had that breakout, oh, that's a 56-minute chart. Sorry, 5-minute chart. As soon as we had that breakout here at 8:25 a.m., so it happened, one bar before the open, and then we had this little opening pullback, and there was a pretty nice pre-market rally from 6:25 all the way up to 8:25. You get the pit open and you have to shake people out, and that's what it does. When you make this breakout, went down here, 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 we got an ABC, a very clean ABC on the 5-minute. And the size of this risk bar was about 30 points, just under 30 points, and we got 4R around the top of this bar right here. So it was a very textbook. We broke above the hoagie top. It happened to be the open. You get little ABC volatility, and that's your risk bar that you risk against, and you got 4R. The same pattern was also in the S&P, and they're both correlated markets, so that shouldn't be surprising. And here we also had a daily hoagie in the S&P. In fact, it was a ID2 because this bar was actually inside that bar, which is inside that bar. And again, we want to go off of a break of the mother bar. We don't want to go off of a break of inside bars because those can also trap. So here, roughly, what is this? 49.97.75. So 49.98 would have been the breakout this morning. And there we go. We got the exact same pattern. In this case, it only tagged the high the minute before the open. It took the open to actually break the high, and it put us right into an A, B, C pattern, the exact same thing that you saw in the Nasdaq. Now, the S&P is not as volatile as the Nasdaq, and if you measure this bar here, it was 5, if I remember right. High to low. No, it was 550, so 1122 points. We needed 1550, and we got to 1525. So it basically stopped one tick shy of 4R. On the morning push, but then it kind of pulled back and went back up, got as high as 50.20. So you did eventually get your 4R in the S&P market, but it was frustrating to get that close and have to sustain a pullback before getting the final 4R target. So the pattern is alive and well in markets. You just got to be patient. There isn't one every day. Typically when there are some, there's 2 or 3, and it definitely comes every week, probably a couple times a week. But it all starts from looking for a good daily setup candle, right? And that setup candle is either a pattern like a hoagie or an inside bar like we had in copper, or, like for example here, a change of direction there, that would have been a great Forex trade. In fact, I think we are, today, the ones that we're looking at, again, and this is stuff I post in the homework on the Discord channel. What we're looking for tomorrow is in gold, okay? And again, that's just because we had an inside bar. You had a breakout to the upside. It got rejected. If we take out this low, it would, follow that we would have some weakness on the daily chart. And we just want weakness to have enough volatility to get our 4R on the breakout pattern. So that's the best one we have looking for tomorrow. again, it's a great pattern. Go back and watch the other videos that I have here, and you're also welcome to join our Discord. I'll put a link in the description of the video, but these links only last for about 7 days. So go ahead and, if you're interested, join, and we'd be happy to have you.